Central Texas Life with Ann Harder.
Hey, everybody, and welcome. This is a big year for the Waco Symphony Orchestra. It is our 60th anniversary, which is a pretty exciting thing. And as part of the celebration, our wonderful Waco Symphony Council is holding its fundraiser, the Symphony of the City. And we have the two co-chairs of that, Betsy Reeder and Dr. Dianne Sawyer. Just so glad to have you here today.
Happy to be here.
Well, this is going to be a fun event. This is going to be April 1st in the evening. Mm-hmm. Haven't had it in 2 years?
Right. It's been 3 years ago.
Right, 3 years ago. Right. So, and this is pretty important for the symphony.
Definitely. It's our major fundraiser this year.
Yes. Everything made goes directly to support the Waco Symphony.
And that means paying those wonderful orchestra members to play. And
that's right.
All the way down the line. Symphony of the City, though, is as a fundraising event, is relatively new, isn't it?
Yes. This is only our fourth one that we've had.
And tell me what the format of this is.
We have 3 beautiful homes in Badger Ranch, stunning homes. Luckily this year they are very close to each other, so there will be no transporting from house to house, which you've had in the past. And at 2 of the homes, the guests will all be divided in half. And so we have like House A and House B, and they're there for an hour, and then they
switch. Swap.
And then luckily our final home, Home C, is very large, and so everyone will meet for the final dessert and champagne party. Yeah.
Well, it's really a very fun event, and you've got music, you've got all kinds of fun things happening at the homes, too.
Right. We'll have music at each home, and then at the end we will have an auction, and we will also have a wine pool.
We have several silent auction items.
Right.
The wine pool we hope to have right now, we're working on it, but 100 bottles, and for $20, you pull a cork that has a number on it, and it corresponds with a bottle of wine that you get. So
and it's going to be worth $20, at least $20, maybe more.
Oh yes, we've got several really good wines. Yeah,
that have been donated.
Yes.
Well, you do have a lot of support in this. I mean, let's talk a little bit about your involvement with the symphony. Betsy, let's start with you.
Yes.
You've been in Waco a long time, recently
we
come
moved
here?
to Waco in 1999 from San Antonio, and we were involved with the symphony there. My mother worked for the symphony office, in fact.
Really?
And I have absolutely no musical ability whatsoever, but had always enjoyed and taken our daughter to the symphony and that type of thing. And so when we moved here, when you move, you're kind of looking around for things to get involved in, and it just seemed a natural thing to get involved with the symphony. And I was really so pleased to find out what an incredible symphony we do have for such a small town. And so over the years, was involved. And then in 2010, 2011, I was the president of the council. And and it's a great way to meet some really nice people too that are involved in the community.
A shared interest in symphonic music, and there's still, I think, some confusion about the role of the Symphony Council as opposed to the Waco Symphony Association, which is a different board of directors that kind of oversees the symphony itself. The Symphony Council is sort of a fundraising arm, but it's more than that. Right, Dianne? Tell me a little bit about your involvement. I know you've done just about every job that can be done, and you're still working all the time. Dr. Sawyer, I have to publicly thank you for the hours you have spent at the symphony office helping out, because there's just so much going on, and they rely so much on your institutional knowledge because you've been involved with the symphony for a while.
I've been around a while, yes. And so, yes, I have that institutional knowledge for being around. But this is an unusual year. And we have lots and lots of things going on, and I'm more than happy to try to help out.
Well, it's been wonderful to. Anytime I'm down there, you're down there. You've been down there working and helping our wonderful executive director, Carolyn Bess, with what she's doing. She's been on the job a little over a year, so she's kind of been learning the ropes as well. I keep saying full disclosure, if you didn't already know, I'm president of the Symphony Association board, and it has been a remarkable year, but a lot of fun in what all is going on. The Symphony Council, though, has always been, or for many years, has certainly been the driving force behind the children's concert series.
Definitely.
Which is a passion of mine for many years.
Well, you've always done a wonderful job of narrating and helping out with that.
Well, to see these children, 6,000 kids over the course of the morning at Baylor, at Waco Hall, they bring in an army of school buses that look like sardines lined up in front of Waco Hall, and all these kids, 2,000 of them, for 3 different concerts during the day. The Children's Symphony is usually in the fall. Mm-hmm. And you Symphony Council ladies do that. I mean, it's just remarkable to me how you're able to run it like a military operation.
It's one of our favorite things, and that's one of the things that I was so impressed with when I first moved here. And just to see, I think they're 4th and 5th graders or 3rd.
They are,
the
4th and 5th, yeah.
The looks on their faces when they come into Waco Hall, I mean, they are in awe because most of them have never been in a facility like that.
Yeah.
And then seeing them hear music, because to them music came from a radio or an iPhone or, whatever, but not from a person. And you can just see the excitement in their eyes and how much they enjoy it. So I think it's an incredible outreach.
Well, it is. And from my vantage point on stage, watching these kids file in, I mean, every year I take pictures of them. They're coming in. We're about to start. And, there is that excitement to see the beauty of Waco Hall. I was a 4th grader before I'd ever walked into Waco Hall for Children's Symphony. So but that first strain of music comes out of the orchestra, Baylor Symphony Orchestra students that provide the music for that. The kids will literally jump in their seats because they've never heard anything like it. And some will be conducting, and some will be sleeping, and some, it just depends on what time of the day. The one right after lunch, they can be a little bit of a sleepy crowd. But I said it's funny. It kind of looks like the audience at an adult symphony concert. Some will be.
But it is, I think it's probably one of the most important outreaches that we do.
I agree.
Because I hope that there's some future musicians in that crowd.
And there have been, I can guarantee you.
Really good.
Yeah, I have heard over the years, yes.
Yeah, I heard from one mother that I talked to after the fact, and she said after the symphony, her child wanted piano lessons, which they had never asked about before. Mm-hmm. So they were really excited about that. I think music is a really good background.
Well, as a physician, as a scientist, Dr. Sawyer, I'm sure you understand how important music education is for kids.
Oh, it is so very important. It adds so much to their other subjects. Math and music are very much interrelated, and I think all the arts will help with that.
Oh, absolutely. Speaking of arts, we have this beautiful painting. So this is one of the items that will be
at the
auctioned
at
the Symphony of the City. Tell me a little bit about the artist. It's just stunning.
This is an artwork by Beth Bame, and she just recently took up art in the last couple of years. I think it was a COVID and being locked in the house thing. But she's incredibly talented and has met with a lot of success. She recently had an exhibition over at the Waco Art Center in the small room. And so we're very excited. I'm thrilled with Beth for donating this for our event. It's a beautiful piece.
Well, at the last Symphony of the City I was able to attend, Mike and I were able to buy Trish Brinley's painting that she had donated to be auctioned, and we have enjoyed it so much. And the whole event, though, is just very lighthearted and just visit with friends, make new friends. I mean, it's a very casual. People can be super dressed up. I mean, a lot of folks want to know, how do I dress?
Right.
This year we put business attire because we thought the cocktail attire may be a little intimidating to some people. And so we felt like business attire is like obviously not jeans and a T-shirt. You want to be a little bit nicer. Some of the ladies, I think, probably will have a little glitter on, and that's quite all right. So we just want you there.
Yeah, anymore if you say church clothes, I mean, people wear everything to church.
right.
You can't even say church clothes.
That's so true.
That's a little more casual than most. But another really big function of what Symphony Council does is the Bells and Brass program. So let's talk about that.
Okay. Dianne?
Well, that's another great program that involves our sophomores and juniors. We have sophomore bells and junior bells, and then we also have the junior brass.
To the males.
So the brass are the guys, the bells, BELLES, like
Right.
symphony bell, yeah.
And this is an opportunity for them to learn about the symphony, also to learn etiquette. They have a class for that, music appreciation, and they usually have a team leadership part of the program.
Usually
also.
out at the Baylor Ropes course. So it's kind of
It's
that's usually at the very beginning because since we have kids are coming from different schools, it's a wonderful way to get them to interact and kind of not be so standoffish with each other. Yeah.
Well, and they do kind of develop then friendships through that because it's students from all over, not just one school.
Right.
So how many different schools do you know? Or I'm asking you, I know Bells and Brass and your thing, but
I think we have 6 or 7
Yes.
schools usually represented.
yeah, that's great.
And it reaches out to Lorena. We've had some young people from West in the past.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not just Waco ISD and Midway and Vanguard. It actually definitely goes out to the other areas surrounding.
Now, what they've done in the past, and this is going to be totally different for Symphony Bells presentation. Of course, the students work as ushers for all of the concerts, right?
Yes, they do.
I mean, we could have put them to work. But for the presentation, the girls would have these beautiful ball gowns, antebellum ball gowns. And, of course, the guys are in their tuxedos. And they would come out and be introduced and take the bow, like a debutante sort
Exactly, yeah.
of presentation. Got to be different this year.
That's right. We are separating it from the symphony, and so they will be presented at Midway High School, and then
They have a stage, and it'll be
the
a
Performing Arts Center.
performing arts center. Okay.
and then they will have a gala after that.
So a totally separate party.
So,
Exactly.
Yeah, in the
For them.
past, of course, the bells and brass were presented either at the intermission, we did that for a while, and then after a concert, and we had done that. And we just felt like they needed more attention and make it a more exclusive thing for just them.
Well, and what had been happening was the music portion of that concert was shortened.
Exactly.
And this is also a year that we are replacing Stephen Hyde as our music director conductor. And one of our candidates, Wesley Schultz, will be the conductor for that concert that would have been the Bells and Brass concert. And it would have given him short shrift to not have a full concert to get to
It would
conduct.
have been unfair to him and everyone that's also kind of judging him too.
Right.
To not get the full
To get
concert,
get the full concert experience without, and I mean, I love seeing the bells presented. I love seeing the guys, and it's just so funny. And some of them are really, particularly the guys, because I had a son that was a brass, and I remember how that whole experience was. But you can look and see some of these guys, they're not really into this. Like that one, he looks like he'd rather be anywhere but here.
They like it because the girls are there.
But they like it because the girl, and they are so lovely, and I just love it because the dresses are so pretty. So, are they still going to do the antebellum dresses?
Yes.
Because I know there was some talk about maybe just let them wear a formal, or like a prom dress
I'm
or
not
something.
aware of that. So, but again, we're not that closely involved with the bells and brass.
Yeah. Okay. The Symphony Council. About how many people do you have involved with that? I mean, you have a pretty good sized board.
Well, the board is probably about 20 people. The
Yeah.
council itself is around 300
Good.
members. And we're lucky this year. We're going to use some of the sophomore bells to help us with the Symphony of the City.
Yes.
They are going to be at the homes
Oh, good.
to kind of guide people through the homes.
Mm-hmm. Excellent. I mean, that's just a great opportunity for them to learn service, and get some of those important service hours in, and something that looks good on the resume. I mean, it's part of it.
Not only that, I think it's such a good experience for the young people to interact as an adult themselves.
Yeah.
They're not being treated like teenagers or whatever. They are actually in a leadership position at the homes, helping guide and set up things. And in this case, they might be driving the golf carts to help people that aren't as mobile as others.
Mm-hmm.
And so they are an integral part of the whole thing, not just an add-on. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And as I say, a good experience for them. Well, there's so much that both the Waco Symphony Association and especially the Waco Symphony Council do in concert, if you will, to make sure the Waco Symphony Orchestra remains a vibrant part of the community.
Hi, this is Sarah,
And I'm Carter.
and this is Some of Our Thoughts.
We're two Southern sommeliers, and we want to share everything we love and know about wine. We started hanging out during quarantine and cooking and drinking and listening to music, and we just thought this would be a great way to bring everything we know to you guys.
We will make wine knowledge and food pairings easy and approachable. So put on your favorite vinyl, grab your favorite glass of wine, tune into our show, and let's have some fun.
Wine and
vinyl.
So check us out on roguemedianetwork.com or wherever you get your favorite podcast. We'll be talking about a lot.
Hey y'all, I'm April,
Hi, I'm Caroline.
and we have a new podcast for you. What's it called, Caroline?
Bloody Happy Hour.
It's going to be your new favorite guilty pleasure. We're going to talk about some bloody stuff. Serial killers, true crime,
Rape.
rapists. Why not join us? We'll have a good time.
You literally never know. I don't know what I'm going to say. Bloody Happy Hour. Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen to podcasts.
Frozen heroes. Gonna tell you about frozen heroes. Gonna tell you about.
Hey, I'm Zach,
And I'm Mike.
and we have a fantastic new podcast to tell you about. Bros, Foes, and Heroes. It's the two of us looking into the world of comics, breaking down some characters that you may have never heard of, and some that are just absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah, so Zach comes up with a character each time, and I go into it just completely blind. I don't know who this person is or what their abilities are or anything, and basically I guess we kind of go over their origin story and just some of the ridiculous stuff that maybe, especially Golden Age stuff.
Oh, Golden Age stuff is always the best, and we will make sure to highlight all of the shenanigans and just absolute weirdness of everything.
Yeah, that's right. So subscribe today and follow us on Instagram at Bros, Foes, Heroes.
And if you don't, I know where you live. Not really, but please subscribe.
Frozen heroes. Gonna tell you about frozen heroes. Gonna tell you about.
Right. as you were talking about earlier, the council is kind of the fundraising part and also a lot of the volunteer part for the orchestra. And because we want it to survive.
Oh, yeah. And anyone can become a member of the Symphony Council.
Definitely.
Correct. And, of course, we are more than happy to sell a ticket to the concert, which is coming up. What would be our Bells and Brass concert, but it is the Magic of Music with Wesley Schultz as the guest conductor will be on March 18th.
Correct. I think one of the really nice things that the council also does that impressed me when I first joined was the preview parties prior to the concert, where in the past Stephen Hyde and now our conductor-elects come and discuss the music that we're going to be hearing, the background, and just kind of give you a sneak preview. And it's always interesting to me to learn so much about what the writer was thinking. I can't think of the word right now.
Yeah.
Cut that. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. The composer and
what the composer was thinking and why he did this and at what time. Yeah. And you get all that background information, which really, when you go to the concert and hear the music, it makes it even more impressive and understandable.
Yeah. Well, and that is a little bit part of the interview, not really audition, but sort of in a kind of is an audition in a way for these conductor candidates. And there were more than 100 who had applied to replace Stephen Hyde because the word is out. And what a wonderful symphony orchestra the Waco Symphony Orchestra is, and some of the stellar folks who have been here to perform, from Yo-Yo Ma to Itzhak Perlman. I mean, you can go down the line of the fabulous people. I'm sure you have been able to enjoy some of these concerts.
Oh, yeah.
What really sticks out in your mind over the years?
Well, those two.
Both those guys.
But we've also had Joshua Bell and Andre Watts, and there's
Henry Mancini.
I remember seeing that concert as well.
Olga Kern, an incredible Russian pianist that had won the. I am drawing a total blank.
Well, are you thinking?
Van Cliburn.
I was going to say you think of the Van Cliburn,
we have
competition.
We usually get the Van Cliburn winner every other year, which is when the contest is held.
Yeah.
So that is quite a coup, I think, for Waco to have that.
Well, it really has attracted some really, truly remarkable musicians who have appeared on the stage there at Waco Hall. And as a result, more than 100 people applied. And that was narrowed down to 4 with a couple of alternates. And it's going to be a long process because we've just had 2. We'll have 2 this spring and then 2 more finalists next fall. So it'll be next fall before a successor to Stephen Hyde will be named. But it'll be wonderful to go through the process of meeting these great musicians. In fact, next week I'll be visiting with Wesley Schultz on this podcast to have a chance to get a little more insight into his experience, what he expects, what he hopes to bring to the Waco Symphony Orchestra. But yeah, it's going to be a great concert. That is March 18th. Now, the Bells and Brass presentation will be March 25th. Correct. And I guess the public is invited. I mean, you can go on to your, how do you buy a ticket for these things?
WacoSymphonyCouncil.com and just click on the Bells and Brass link.
Right. So there's a separate price just to come to the presentation if you want to see them being presented at Midway Performing Arts, and then a separate ticket for
the gala
Ridgewood
dinner. Yes,
gala at Ridgewood.
Yeah, dinner dance music.
But we really want folks to come to Symphony of the City, and so can you tell us a little bit of the pricing of tickets, and they go to the same place to get a ticket?
The basic ticket price is $225 each per person for all 3 homes and the food and the music and everything. And then there's different levels available, sponsorships that go all the way up to $5,000, and which we, again, all the money goes to the symphony. The homes that have been volunteered, these people are so nice to let strangers tromp through their homes. But we've got 3 beautiful homes that are decorated very differently and very unique. And so it's just a wonderful opportunity to get ideas for your own home or just to see what's going on in Waco with some of the houses too.
Well, speaking of houses, I know in the past the symphony has had a symphony house.
Yes.
I guess you've been involved with that too.
I have.
You probably chaired it.
Co-chair, but
Well, there we go. It was just a guess on my part. But I can remember, it's been several years.
I don't
2013 or 14
18,
was our
I was
last.
The
thinking
last
it's been 8
one.
years, yeah.
Yes.
Well, but what a wonderful fundraiser that was for the symphony.
It was a lot of work. And because the Symphony Show House was open for 2 weeks, it took an incredible amount of volunteers.
Yeah.
And
You had to man.
yeah, we even had a tea house at one
I
point.
remember, yes.
And all of that coordination. And it's hard to get people that are free. You know, so many people do work outside the home. And to get the volunteers. And so it just was becoming more and more difficult to run.
Yeah, but what a wonderful thing. And I know other major symphonies across the U.S. do this same kind of fundraiser. You had a builder who, came on board, and then different decorators around the city would take a room, and it was a lot of fun.
Oh, it was. We had some wonderful parties.
Oh, yeah. So, but in the meantime, Symphony of the City is the major fundraiser for the Waco Symphony Council. And again, so many thanks to you both for all you're doing to help make this a success and to maintain the health and vibrancy of the Waco Symphony Orchestra. It's exciting. Well, I like to end these little visits with a little questionnaire, similar to the one the late, great James Lipton would do on Inside the Actor's Studio.
Yes.
Did you ever see that?
love
Did
that
you ever see
show.
that? Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Well, I interviewed a young woman once, and I thought, she's not going to know. She's not going to. She goes, I went to Inside the Actors. She was a drama student in New York and was able to be in the audience 2 times. So I was shocked at that. Anyway, these are sort of kind of the questions he would ask. And I'll ask both of you. What is your favorite word?
Oh, my gosh.
Favorite word?
Success.
That's good, yeah. You have...
Because there's different types of success. It's personal and professional. And
Yeah. It's a feel-good word,
It's a
though.
feel-good word,
Yeah. Okay.
And I hope this is a successful event.
Amen.
Yeah.
Oh, what about you, Diane?
That's a hard one. Yeah.
That is. I've never thought of that one. I thought about that before. I guess progress.
Oh, that's good.
I like to
Yeah.
keep going forward.
Amen. Amen. What is your least favorite word? Since you answered, I'll ask you first.
No.
I have heard
Especially
that
when I'm asking somebody to do something.
for money or whatever.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
I have to agree with Diane. You know,
Okay.
no is, it's negative, obviously. But then it's like it stops you and you can't move forward from that. It's just,
It's just
not good.
Yeah. What turns you on creatively, spiritually, or emotionally?
Nature.
Yeah. Yeah.
I just really feel when we've been outdoors or out hiking or on vacations, just seeing the incredible world around us and the creations that God made for us.
Yeah.
And I will agree with that one.
Okay.
Because I grew up in the mountains. And so
Where?
Taos, New Mexico.
And Taos, really? Okay. I didn't know that about
and
you.
so to me, nature's
Yeah.
inspiring and beautiful and
fills me up.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. New Mexico is amazing. What turns you off creatively or emotionally or spiritually?
fatigue.
Yeah.
Just sometimes you just get so tired you just feel like you have to shut down
Right.
for a while.
I think it's very similar to negativity.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like I just, it wears you out, it shuts you down. And as I've gotten older, I find I try to avoid negativity more than ever, whether it be people or surroundings or that type thing.
Yeah. 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 Well said. What sound do you love the most?
Birds.
Oh,
Oh
okay.
gosh, then where do we get along?
Yeah. Good thing our co-chairs are so in sync with one another.
Just being, again, it's with the outdoors.
Yeah.
But just listening to the sounds and the birds and everything. I really enjoy that.
Sometimes I'll play music, whether it's jazz music or whatever, and I'll have birds sing. I thought, well, they're just sort of chiming right in, or if it's spa music, whatever, and my birds outside kind of help with the soundtrack. What sound do you hate? I'll ask you that, Dianne.
I guess the scratching across the chalkboard.
There you go. Nails on a blackboard.
Yes.
Yeah, I've heard that. I've heard that before.
I just don't like a lot of loud city noise.
Mm-hmm.
Like when you're in New York and all the cacophony from the honking and the people talking in the cars.
Yeah.
It's just a little overwhelming, I think.
Yeah, we moved years ago, right after we were married. We lived in Houston and then moved to Lorena. And you could hear cows mooing, and it really was amazing. I did not realize how much noise I had been living with until I was really around quiet. And yeah, that can have an effect on you physically, for sure.
Part of going and being in nature, it helps reset your meters or whatever.
Yeah. Oh no, it does for sure. I didn't even ask you, what profession did you do before? I mean, I know what Dr. Sawyer was a gynecologist, obstetrician,
and I also worked for the public health department in San Antonio, Texas.
Oh my
for
goodness,
several years. And then when we moved to Waco, I elected not to work. My daughter was 5 at the time. But she years ago was having to fill out, I think, a college application when it said mother's employer. She said, "I'm not going to put you're a housewife," and because you're never home. And so she said, "Professional volunteer."
There you go.
And so that's what I am now, a professional volunteer.
Very poorly paid, but
poorly paid, but it's a lot of feel good. Yeah, meet a lot of great people. Yeah.
Okay, again, a renowned obstetrician gynecologist. I have a friend who was your patient, and she literally went into mourning when you. When you returned, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? But I know. So you birthed a lot of babies, as they say.
That was a lot of fun. I did enjoy interacting with my patients.
Yeah,
and there at that special moment.
Oh my goodness! But what other profession would you like to have tried, Dr. Sawyer?
Well, of course, I was growing up, thought about being a veterinarian, and also was thinking about physical therapists.
Mm-hmm. So it was always in the physical, hand-on medical.
Yeah, I think so.
Good. Okay. What about you, Betsy?
I think, gosh, this is a hard one because I love music, but I have absolutely zero music talent. But I certainly appreciate those that do. But I love architecture. And when we travel, I end up taking pictures of bricks and buildings and just angles. I'm just really fascinated by how people could think that and put it together, especially in some old buildings.
Right. Ancient peoples were able to do. And you think, how did they do that?
So I have tons or thousands of pictures of doorways and chimneys and different things like that.
Well,
it's
that's
really
cool.
Strange, yes.
Yeah, that's funny. What job do you know you would not want to do? And I have had some people say, I would never want to be a doctor. But I appreciate them. I'm glad they're there, but I could never do that. So you've been that. So what do you know you just would not want to do?
I'm not sure that there is one that
really
I'd say that absolutely not.
Okay.
I would never want to be on TV every day like you.
Definitely.
This is so out of my comfort range. So, but anyway.
I would never guess that.
So that is not my forte, yeah.
Well, some people say fear of public speaking is the biggest fear that they have. But you guys have been amazing. So one last question. What do you want to hear God say when you arrive at the pearly gates?
Welcome. We've been waiting for you.
That's the best answer I can think of. But yes.
Well done to you both as well for your work with the Waco Symphony Council. And again, that website so they can go and buy tickets to Symphony of the City for April 1st.
Yes.
Waco Symphony Council.com, all one word. And there's information there. Buy tickets. You can also send a message to either Dianne or I through that website, and we can answer any questions you might have.
Yeah, it's going to be a great event. Look forward to seeing a lot of you out there as well. Thank you, Dr. Dianne Sawyer, Betsy Reeder, and thank you for being with us. Join us again for Central Texas Life, the podcast. Bye-bye.
Central Texas Life with Ann Harder is part of the Rogue Media family. Be sure to check out our other shows at roguemedianetwork.com. Please rate this show 5 stars on iTunes, Spotify, YouTube, or anywhere you get your podcasts. Join us again soon for more Central Texas Life with Ann Harder.